Well, here we are. Welcome to Puck Social, the Puck Social podcast. We're not Staff and Graph anymore. We're Puck Social now.
What's your name?
My name is Mike Stevens. This is Rachel Dory over here. The
Hello.
future. Well, you know, I was going to say future first female GM in NHL history, but the reason why we changed our name and rebranded is because that is no longer the case. So we just before we kick off things here, I want to give a moment of silence to the Staff and Graph brand. I didn't create it.
True.
I was not the original co-host. That was Ian Tulloch, who sadly passed away in an elevator in Scotiabank Arena. He's still there. He's living off his own pee.
Ew, what?
Oh yeah, we were all telling. That's the number one thing for people who didn't realize this. Like, again, we're 2 seconds into the podcast and we're on our first tangent. But Ian Tulloch,
Get used to that, everybody, because that's going to be a thing.
I was covering a Leafs preseason game for Canadian Press, and Ian Tulloch messaged a group chat that I'm in, going, "Hey guys, I'm stuck in an elevator in Scotiabank Arena." And for those who don't know who Ian Tulloch is, used to be an athletic writer, big guy in analytics, Twitter, and he was the original co-host of Staff and Graph, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, he got stuck in the elevator for pretty much the entire game, like almost 3 hours.
I would be terrified.
Did you not know? Did you know how it ended? Like,
no.
Like he was stuck in the elevator for pretty much the entire game. The game was maybe like 2 minutes old. He went down to like get a beer or something. I think him and his dad. And they got stuck in the elevator. Those are janky elevators at Scotiabank Arena, we will say. They're very janky. But
they could use an upgrade or two.
Mm-hmm. And he was giving us play-by-play updates. And the entire time he was like genuinely like upset. He's like, "I'm missing the game. This sucks, whatever." And we're all just being like, "Drink your own piss." Do it.
So
anyway,
Ian died.
So Ian passed away, sadly, R.I.P. And the puck and the Staff and Graph podcast brand with him. But look, at the end of the day, like, Rachel and I, neither of us are staff anymore.
And neither of us want to be staff.
We both quit our jobs in hockey media, and now we're just living life, having fun, doing normal stuff. And so neither of us are staff, and I'm definitely not Graph. If anything, I become more of a boomer.
This man has become such a boomer now.
If you mention like an RAPM chart or something around me, or if your argument begins with per 60 or something, like if those are mentioned, it's just no, time out. No, thank you. So, and so we thought, look, let's get a rebrand. Let's have some fun, and let's return this let's make it our own, because it really kind of was the echo of a podcast that it really no longer was. It wasn't like it was a podcast that didn't have the same subject matter even really, or the way that we were looking at the game. It was kind of like shoving a square peg in a round hole, you know?
Yeah, and the reality is Mike and I are best friends. That's how Mike became a co-host. And the thing is like, we both love hockey. I only write for ESPN now, but like I don't have a desire to work in the game anymore. And so the staff part was really just kind of taking a toll on me. And we kind of decided that like, for what we were doing, hockey wasn't really fun anymore. No, it wasn't. And so we kind of figured out that for a lot of people, hockey hasn't been fun. And so we're like, you know what? Let's have some fun. So we're going to do hockey, but we're also going to do like crazy nonsense, relationship advice, life advice, Mike's Meals for One, Mike's movie reviews. Yeah. Some style rankings.
We're just gonna we're gonna talk hockey. Obviously, that's gonna be the crux of the show. But like, it's just not gonna be as structured. It's not gonna be as analytic.
We're gonna be silly.
It's just gonna be two people talking hockey. And if you want to join in, feel free. So with that,
welcome to Puck Social.
Welcome to Puck Social, and let's start off with it's such a fortuitous bounce that we started now, because apparently the former captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't even know where to begin with this. John Tavares is wearing an amulet.
Okay, so
an ancient amulet.
We're starting this show off on the right foot because basically Mike and I split like preparations for the show. And what happened today for our first episode is the prep that I did, I hid from Mike. And the prep that Mike did, he hid from me. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a total surprise to Mike. And it's going to get wild. We're getting Mike's reaction in real time.
I'm pulling up the relationship advice we're going to go through just to make sure I have it.
Dear God.
It's good.
Okay, so John Tavares is using an amulet. Mm-hmm. And I went and did some research on this.
So before we talk about like John, because people are going to be like, what do you mean John Tavares is wearing an amulet?
So
John Tavares is wearing a necklace with like a stone on it, basically, that is apparently supposed to shield him from Wi-Fi signals and like microwave frequencies.
5G non-coherent radiation, to be specific. So, given that I spent quite a bit of time reading
take it away.
Papers, I decided to go down the rabbit hole and do some, in huge air quotes, research for the show today. And let's get in. So, we'd like to shout out Evan, Backlog Reviewer on Twitter, because he had this thread, and I used this thread to then go and dive deep into researching what this nonsense is.
Okay.
So, it's called Aries Tech, and it's Russell Brand, who is the ex-husband of Katy Perry, and now
accused has some pretty bad accusations against him.
Awful accusations.
And is the stalwart, like yet another stalwart of the accusations of misconduct to right-wing grifter pipeline.
Right. So he is a Christian right-wing influencer and is notably associated with the disgraced University of Toronto professor Jordan Peterson, who hockey players seem to love for reasons unknown.
Well, it's because hockey players, they have such a hard life, just like me. I'm Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
He sounds like Kermit the Frog, but like he's always crying about something.
That's what Jordan, like that's what he does. I went to U of T at the same time when all this was going on.
I'm dead.
I went to U of T at the same time that all of Jordan Peterson's crap was going on. I remember seeing that. Like, and he sounds like Kermit the Frog if he's always making a passionate stance about why people don't like him. That's what he does. Like he right now he's become one of those guys who he's almost become sort of like a Charlie Kirk, a Ben Shapiro, a guy who gets upset about everything. But he is very funny in the sense that like it's easy to dunk on this guy.
Oh, super easy. Okay, so this is also what I found out. There are multiple types of this amulet product available.
Okay.
And the regular one, the most popular one, you can have for the ripe old price of €200.
So what's that, like $400 or something? Like
$300 Canadian.
Yeah. Geez.
Okay, but then there is the Lifeline Flex for $600.
So this is a type of amulet, like Lifeline. What is the difference between the €200 amulet and the $600 amulet?
So the $200 amulet is like the necklace type of situation. The $600 one is like a contraption where you can like keep it in your house and there's a piece of it you can take with you, and then there's another piece that you can stick on your phone.
So do you like it, it's not even an amulet when it gets to $600? Like you can't even wear it?
No.
Then what's the point?
And then there's the Lifeline one.
Okay.
Which is only $125. I say only with no sarcasm at all.
Only $125?
And it goes on the back of your phone.
I thought you were going to pull up your phone and you were going to have one on it. I thought you were going to be like, and?
So it goes on the back of your phone, and it is supposed to be a 5G deflector that transforms non-coherent radiation to coherent radiation. And do you want to know where that citation came from?
Where?
The very reputable Russian encyclopedia. So, then I went down the rabbit hole of who is endorsing this. Because it says there's peer-reviewed papers. The first person I stumbled across is this man named Eldon Bird, who notably wrote the book called We Are Walking Antennas.
As you do.
He is also, he endorses what we call science, and he's a noted lecturer on mind control.
Oh, okay.
And has publications in, and I quote, Terrorized Germany and Mind Justice.
Terrorized Germany?
Yep.
Like the country?
Yep. Which I feel like a little bit qualified to speak on this. That book is one of the most laughed at pieces of literature.
What is that? Like, what is it talking about? Just like Germany is a terrorist organization or something?
No, it's
or
like basically how Germany is terrorized post-World War II because of all of the punishments that came due to, the war crimes that happened. So this guy seems like a reputable
very cool.
individual.
Very cool.
And so then I went down the rabbit hole of the Mind Justice YouTube page.
By the way, Mind Justice sounds like a CBS like procedural. Like it sounds like on Thursdays at 8. Like I'm trying to think of a washed up like
Dateline,
like
except it's Mind Justice.
Nathan Fillion is Mind Justice, or Nathan Fillion's doling out Mind Justice.
So here we go with that. That's a very reputable. So we've got the Russian Encyclopedia
and Mind Justice
and Eldon Bird.
Yeah.
So according to John Tavares, this possesses, and I quote, magical healing powers.
So I wonder if this really, first of all, hilarious.
Did he not miss the last game due to illness?
He did.
So
it hasn't been able to protect him from first round exits, that's for sure. Like hasn't been
apparently not from.
Hasn't been able to protect him from the Boston Bruins, that's for sure. Like, so I wonder, like I genuinely wonder if he knows that he is a spokesperson for this. There's a lot of Russian involvement here, I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. And we obviously live in an age where AI is doing a lot of stuff. And as far as I know, he has not made a public statement about this.
Except.
Okay.
And this is where it gets weird.
All right,
As if we're not already.
Oh, yeah, no, this hasn't been weird yet. No. Okay. This is where it gets weird. Okay.
So, Ares Tech, notable amulet manufacturer, has a partnership with Canada Basketball and RJ Barrett, and in the Canada Basketball press release about the partnership, they cite John Tavares as being part of this. The CEO of Canada Basketball is talking about this amulet.
Okay, so...
And, notably, neither the Toronto Maple Leafs nor the Toronto Raptors, who RJ Barrett plays for, are allowing their branding to be used.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Now,
I feel like Steve Keogh saw that and was like, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah, he was like, sorry, John, but no, like no. Now, I want to give... There's a certain degree of leeway that I will give athletes for this, for these like mind tricks, because as an athlete, you basically, and you know, it's like you have to sort of trick yourself. It's all about tricking yourself mentally, basically,
right?
Into upping your game. It's all like that's the reason why we hear the Chiefs or the Patriots at the height of their powers go, "No one believed in us,"
and it's like
because as an athlete, you need motivation, so they have to literally trick themselves into thinking they're an underdog. And then, you know, I get it. Like, I've been running 17 kilometers every night, like, to train for, I guess, a marathon. I don't know. But, like, I get really superstitious about stuff like that. And so, like, for example, I drink some pre-workout before I go, just, like, to get me going. And, like, I just switched flavors from peach to, like, blue freeze or whatever it is. And I feel like the effects aren't as good.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I'm just like, oh man, well, I got to go back to peach now. It's going to be all messed up. Like, that's not that different than like this. I need to wear this amulet or else 5G is going to make me only score 15 goals this year.
So then I decided to get academic about it. And I went on the website, Mike. Mm-hmm. And I decided that it would be a good idea to read the peer-reviewed papers.
Okay.
And you and I were close when I was writing my thesis, right?
Yes.
So, you know that I went through the peer review process and, like, preparing for my defense was, like, a big sort of situation. So I know what the process is like. So it says they have peer-reviewed papers. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, I wonder what these say, because there's no way that this is a real thing.
No, but it is.
So I went to read the peer review papers. Do you remember when I showed you my thesis? There was like a stack. It was like 40, 60, like however many pages.
Yeah, and like half of those are like citations, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
The longest peer review paper on the site that I could find was 7 pages. It was all peer reviewed by the same person.
So.
Super reputable right off the hop.
So that's not peer review.
Yeah. Okay. So then I'm like, you know what? I need to like go through and see what these papers look like. Let's see the content. The formatting would not pass. The citations were not even remotely acceptable. And just like the content itself, not only would that not pass actual peer review, it wouldn't even get published on like a blog.
So here's my question.
Okay.
What did you expect?
Well, when they said peer review,
did you expect?
I did sort of expect something more.
Did you expect that like the Mayo Clinic or the Cleveland Clinic or like frickin' Bill Gates were going to be
Harvard
like
autism guy, basically. That's what this is.
Like, did you hear the words an amulet with magical healing powers that will deflect 5G radiation? And the first thing I thought of wasn't like, oh, I bet this is peer reviewed by some reputable sources.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like Oxford is all over it.
Yeah, like it's understandable. But like I will excuse athletes for this because, like I said, you have to trick yourself into so many things. Like there's athletes are so like, there's an Eichel jersey right behind me. Like, go back, people, and read. I think it was The Athletic who did it, but like they published Jack Eichel's like game day routine.
Oh my God.
It's like, the start of American Psycho where he's like, my name is Patrick Bateman. In the morning, I have a almond salt scrub that I use to wash my hair. And then I do like, it's like that. Jack Eichel takes 3 showers a day. He eats like 5 apples.
And they have to be a certain type of apple.
They have to be a certain type of apple at certain times. Like, he has to use specific, like, brands of things. And obviously, I'm not an elite athlete by any means, but like, I do similar things like that. Like, I have to eat, I have to take, I have to drink water like before I do this at a certain time, or else I feel like it's not going to be that great. I have to do a certain route. I always like doing a certain route. Like, people, they're very superstitious. So I get it. I bet someone was able to convince RJ Barrett and John Tavares that this amulet really works, and they had a good game or something wearing it, and they went, I can never take this off again or else I will fail. And Tavares is also, he's big on like anything that even remotely has a chance to extend his career, he will do it. He was doing the red light sauna stuff. Which
is actually scientifically
He's
proven.
got kombucha on tap in his house.
Jesus.
Like, he does all that kind of, so I get it. He's one of those guys. Like, where he's...
So we're not really surprised about this amulet thing,
it doesn't
are we?
shock me. And the thing is, it sucks that it's linked to some bad people, because Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand are straight up bad people.
That's being polite.
But I don't think that John Tavares is hanging out with these guys talking about how great his amulet is.
What are the odds? Like, he's probably not even spoken to them.
No.
But this is like a shining example of athletes will just like... He's 100% being paid to do this.
Oh, well, yeah.
But, like, athletes, this is where you really need, like, a manager. Like, not even your agent. Your agent does your contract. This is where you need somebody that's in charge of, like, your branding to be like, no.
Be like, you can use this, but don't be the face of it. Don't put your face next to it on their website.
Right.
Like, I also find it very funny that Russell Brand is now doing this big public, I'm a traditional Christian guy now. And yet he's just like, this amulet is magic.
I know.
And it will protect you. I'm like, I thought God protected.
Yeah, what about God?
What about God, huh? What about Christ? What about Christ, Russell? What about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior? Hallowed be thy name.
He probably needs Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
You know who else needs Jesus Christ?
Who?
Anyone who hasn't had their thang Hawk Tuah on.
Michael!
That's who need Jesus. If you're not gonna, if they don't Hawk Tuah, I won't talk to you. That's what they say.
Okay. This whole thing, admittedly, the first video was hilarious. But now there's a podcast.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Oh, I thought
it was mildly funny. It was Hawk Tuah spit on that thing, and it's like, ha ha ha! What a funny thing! It's the first street interview that has ever been funny, except for the staged like, you know, these dogs in your front yard. That's how you know, bing bong.
Or what's
like
his name? They're climbing in your windows. They're snatching your people up.
That's true. Yeah. Anton Dobson.
Thank you. Okay, so this Hawk Tuah girl.
Yeah, Haley Welch, spelled in the most obnoxious way. How do you think she spells Haley?
Don't even.
How do you think she spells Haley?
It's probably like Haiylie or something stupid.
No, it's Haley.
Nope, jail. Directly to jail. Okay,
Why?
So this chick dunked on the Bruins.
Okay. She herself didn't dunk. Her podcast account dunked on it. But
why does she have a podcast?
Because listen, why wouldn't she have a podcast?
But like,
especially I got to admit before we get, because the whole reason we're talking about this is because of Jeremy Swayman. But I have to admit, she has capitalized on what should have been 3 milliseconds of fame pretty well.
Oh, she's nailed it.
Because although it sucks, apparently she really likes Elon Musk and stuff, so she is milkshake ducked, unfortunately. But like naming your podcast Talk Tuah, it's perfect. Like that, it could not have been named anything else.
No, it's so funny. And you know what my fantasy football team is named? Hawk Tuah.
Yeah, like Tuah. My fantasy hockey team is Hockey Tuah. Spit on that thing.
Jeez.
Because it's very, you know.
See, mine's
Hockey Tuah.
Because
it's hockey.
See, mine's Hawk Tuah as in Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
So
and mine's Hockey Tuah as in hockey.
There you go. So it's it's kind of become a meme, but like the violence of the actual video, like the violence in which she said it with was what got me, because I'm like, okay, as a woman.
Oh boy.
You've done your fair share of sexual things. At no point are you making that sound. Yeah, like this. You can't be doing. I'm sorry, Haley. We can't be doing that. Like, that's like a yelling BJ.
My God. Oh my God.
Like,
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Like, what is... I need to know what the thought process was, because she was clearly hammered.
Yeah. Can you imagine if someone was recording you and asking you questions when you're like drunk outside a club?
We're going to do
when
this
you're
podcast
like 21
one day,
or something?
And I'm going to do it high.
Yeah.
There is no way I'm going to say something
you will.
That's that outrageous.
Yeah, you will. And I will make sure of it. I need to Google how old she is.
Oh, man. But I just like...
She's 21. Like, come on.
Oh, she's barely allowed to drink. My brother turned 21, like, last week.
They also, all of these, first of all, there's a Hawk Tuah Wikipedia page, which is extremely funny. They also, all of these other websites, like I just Googled Haley Welch age, they all have her name spelled wrong. They all have it spelled like a normal Haley, because you would assume that's how you spell Haley. It's not.
Okay, so she gets his podcast. Mm-hmm. At the same time as the Boston Bruins and Cam Neely are
publicly shaming their goaltender.
Bad idea.
Can we just talk about for a second, like, how is that Bruins culture?
Going downhill, to say the least.
Like, we talk about how, and I've seen it in person after the whole Mitchell Miller stuff, at least from the players.
Whoa.
At least from the players. Like, I was in that locker room the next day when they were in Toronto and they had to face the media. And I was there and I saw, at the time, Nick Foligno was on that team, but I saw Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand all step up and field those questions. And there is, like, a real culture there. But management, this is like they've been doing some weird things, and especially now, they have a guy like they first of all they traded their recently Vezina winning goaltender for basically pennies on the dollar. Like they did not get very much for Linus Ullmark.
They took all their leverage away when they did that with Swayman too. You sign Swayman and then you trade Ullmark. This is not hard.
Yeah, because like Swayman knew that he had them by the balls.
Yeah.
And he was like, listen, like you can like if we still had Linus, your argument to me could have been, all right, fine, walk. Like we'll trade you. We have Linus. He won the Vezina 2 years ago. Like, fine. Like, do whatever. Or instead, they traded him for nothing because and also if I was the Bruins, I'd be a little pissed because like Ullmark, the whole reason why you didn't trade him you didn't get much of a return for him was he didn't come with an extension. And then what does he do like after one game played in the regular season? Not even. He signed before he even plays a regular season game for Ottawa. He signs an extension. Like it's like I would be pissed about that. If I was the Bruins, just because like, really, it took you like, I know you had to probably feel out the situation, but like, you know, really.
There should have been a condition on there where it's like, if he extends for X like amount of years, we get like a first or whatever.
Yeah. On top of that.
But like Cam Neely, what are you doing?
I've asked that question a lot lately.
Like he's like, oh, I have 64 million reasons to like be there. And Louis Gross is probably like, excuse me, that's not what the offer was.
And to be fair, the offer was like close to that, like they claimed that it was like 8x8 and it was like 8 by like 7.5 or something.
Right,
but technically, but in a court of law, it holds up.
It better not be like if you're gonna go out and publicly say that about Jeremy Swayman, it better not be a penny less than $64 million, and it was a whole $2 million less. Like
they tacked on some extra money to that,
and then Swayman ends up signing. And he really should have just waited till after game one because he could have gone in and been like $12 million and after the Korpisalo performance, and the Bruins probably would have had to been like, yeah. Meh.
So I'm in the Dangle Navy like fancy hockey league, and here I am. This was like we had our draft. Like this happened pretty quickly. Like you know, it was the 64 million reasons 64 million reasons why you should sign. Then he got dunked on by Hawk Tuah. And then we had our draft. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to play. And I literally put it in the chat. Like we were having a Zoom call. And I'm like, guys, I'm going to play 5th dimensional chess here.
Oh, dear.
Not even 4th, but 5th dimensional chess.
Okay.
I'm like, you know, one of my final picks, Joonas Korpisalo. Let's go. He's going to be the starter for the Boston Bruins until like November or December. He's going to be great. The next morning, Swayman signs. So I drop him. I believe James Myrtle picks him up.
Oh my God.
Because it's announced he is starting game 1. So he's like, I'll just stream him. It'll be great. It's the Boston Bruins, for gosh sakes. And the Boston Bruins got hammered.
They got waxed.
And Joonas Korpisalo, like the number one thing.
Points.
Yeah, I think he got like -4 points. Like the number one thing I saw on Twitter was like they're gonna like waive him, even though he's got like 3 years left on his deal or whatever. Like it's rough. So somehow Boston had no leverage and they were able to come out on top with this. Hopefully not with too much of a strained relationship, although Swayman has 66 million reasons to maybe let, you know, it be water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But still, that is not the way you negotiate. I just think about this.
Cam Neely, man, you just can't do that. You can't.
And I hate to be a Toronto guy here, okay? I feel like we should make it a segment even on our show. Just to the tune of the John Legend song, like imagine if the Leafs.
Man, okay.
Like, imagine if the Leafs. And it's this. Can you imagine Mitch Marner or William Nylander are in their contract negotiations?
Well, one of them is.
Yes, but that player is dead to me. But, and it's not William Nylander. But can you imagine in one of those negotiations, because they're both RFAs, they're both, I would say Swayman is just as integral to the Bruins' success as Marner is to the Leafs or Nylander is to the Leafs. Like,
well, and Swayman and Nylander have the same agent.
Yeah, there you go. Gross. notice how Louis Gross kept all like Louis Gross is known for being a hard ass in negotiations, but he keeps it behind the door.
He did not. Nothing got said until Cam Neely said something.
Nothing, and notice nothing was said with Nylander.
Ever.
Nothing. Like we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear his dad come out and say anything.
Even like I was working for the Devils when that negotiation was happening, and like even within our front office, we couldn't figure out what was going on. Like it was kept so quiet. So the moment that happened, I'm like, the leaks are coming from the Bruins because they're not coming from Louis Gross.
But can you imagine if during one of those negotiations, Brendan Shanahan, because this is not the GM, this is the president of hockey operations. Like this is Brendan Shanahan goes in front of the media and says, you know, oh well, you know, we have a like what did Willie end up signing? It was like 6 by 6.9, so it was like like 40 something million or something like that.
Yeah, it was like $44 million.
Yeah, it's like so we've given him $43 million to 43 million reasons why he should be, you know, playing for us right now. Like I want like
the city would have burned down.
I don't think you understand like the amount of coverage that would have.
Well, like even the Marner Switzerland thing was outrageous,
and that wasn't even like really like he
was never doing that.
He was never doing it, and also like, and he didn't step in front of like a microphone and be like, my client will be playing for the Lugano's, you know, Blue Tigers or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, like it wasn't like that.
All right, so just meme after meme after meme. Let's get into Sty No Sty.
Okay.
We got 4 new jerseys, new looks that we got to talk about.
And I frankly like them all, but let's go.
The Utah Hockey Club.
Well, for a placeholder, I would say Sty, but overall, like I feel like you could have done better as a placeholder.
Color scheme though, quality color scheme. The powder blue is
powder blue is good. However, like I'm gonna obviously reserve judgment until we find out what their name and what their actual jerseys. It's gonna be the Yeti, right?
The
like
Yeti, yeah.
And I love that name. Like
they need to have like the abominable snowman as their
like
mascot.
I frankly do. I like the Yeti.
I love it too.
But the thing, like, I just feel like black. Like everyone uses black. The Leafs now have like a third jersey that's black. Like I feel like,
but as a primary, I think it's kind of sick. Unless you come with a powder blue home jersey, then
I just wish we could have gotten a little funkier with it. Like I wish we could have like. I feel like no team uses purple.
You know how I feel about purple.
Yeah,
I love me some purple.
Like no team uses purple. Like very few teams use like different shades of green. You know, like I feel like we could have gotten interesting. Even if you did I would have loved for them to take the colors of like the old Jazz.
That would have been
the Utah Jazz. Like that would have been cool. But I'm gonna reserve judgment. But for now, I'll say No Sty just because it's a placeholder. It just says Utah. Like it's kind of boring. But we'll see next year.
The Kings jerseys / logo.
Unreal. They're fantastic.
10 out of 10 Sty.
I mean, they really should be the ones that are right behind you. Like I love those. If anything,
for everyone listening, it's the yellow jersey with like the purple stripes and crown.
If anything, just because the yellow might be a little intense, and especially if it clashes with Nashville. So it should be just like swap the colors basically. Make it so it's the purple background with the gold, however you want to like classify it as, gold accents, but it's like regardless, if you're gonna go to the 90s years, like those are unreal. Those are fantastic.
But I like their new ones, like the new Kings logo that's got the black and the silver. Yeah. I like the actual logo too. Yeah. I think it's really slick. Because
the Kings jerseys sucked before.
Oh, that big LA shield looking thing.
Like
was awful.
if you're gonna do black and white or black and silver, like they were black and white. If you're gonna do black and white, you better have like an interesting twist on it. They didn't.
And now they're sick.
And the thing about it too is like they're 2 cups in quick succession with each other, like bought them goodwill with those jerseys.
Right.
But it wore off.
Yeah.
I love this rebrand.
Terrible. Speaking of rebrand, the Ducks.
Best jerseys in the league.
You like the orange?
I love them.
I wanted them to go like the reverse retro, like the purple or like the eggplant ones. Those are the jerseys I want them to go with.
You know what? I think it's because I know a lot of people wanted them. I don't like orange though. I love it. Like a lot of people wanted them to go back to like, and I think this is the perfect like sort of paying tribute to the past, but like taking that step forward.
The logo itself, one of the best in the league. It's nasty. It's so nice. Like you said, playing tribute with like a new spin. I don't know. I don't love the orange. The whole ensemble I think is fine because the logo is sick.
If you're gonna go with a bold color, I like that. I like it when teams go both feet in, like they jump in with both feet.
Oh, they said orange pants.
They have orange pants, orange gloves, orange helmets, like primarily. Like I like that, and I love those jerseys. It takes the Ducks from literally the worst jersey in the league. Like
those were
they were horrible, especially last year when they had they had like 5 patches on them at one point.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
And like, which meant like the A or the C was like basically like down over someone's nipples. Like it was brutal. It looked horrible. But these new jerseys are unbelievable. They're my favorite jerseys in the league now.
Ooh, all right.
Seriously. Like getting a Cutter Gauthier or a Leo Carlson in that, like that is unreal.
All right. The return of the Washington Screaming Eagle.
It would be great if they put the 50th anniversary patch on the shoulder, so Ovi's C didn't have to be in the middle of his chest, in the middle of his torso, basically. That ruined it completely for me when I saw it. But for players who don't wear A's, fantastic jersey. I don't hate the Capitals' current jerseys as much as everyone does.
So red is a quality jersey color.
Yeah.
I think it might have been cool to do a Screaming Eagle
in red.
Like
they had a reverse retro of that.
Exactly.
I think they should have just kept that.
Just go with that. Now, I think given the thing I like about the Screaming Eagle jersey is they're bringing it back. That is the jersey Ovechkin was wearing when he scored that absolutely insane goal against Arizona.
Yeah.
Arguably the coolest goal in NHL history.
Mm-hmm. Close to it, yeah.
And so now he's chasing down Gretzky's goals record. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it, and there's like a non-zero chance he does it wearing the Screaming Eagle jersey.
That'd be really cool.
Which would be sick. Because that's like new Ovi, old Ovi. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like if that happens, that would be a great
full circle moment.
Exactly.
You know? Like, it would be really cool.
It would be super cool.
Are they only bringing it back for the 50th anniversary?
That's the thing, is like he's probably not scoring 43 goals this year.
Yeah.
Although if he did.
Although we just said that, which means he is now.
He's scoring exactly 43.
It's, yeah. Well, remember that year where he hit 50 with a game left and he just took it off? Like he just was like, I'm not playing?
Yeah.
He got a hat trick in the last game to hit 50, and then like there was like game 82. In game 81, game 82 was the next day. He's like, nah.
Yeah, he's like, thank you. We're done here.
We've made the playoffs. I hit 50 goals. I'm out of here. Yeah, I love the Screaming Eagle. Like I think pretty much every jersey alteration this year worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
And look, I was expecting for sure that the main topic of the first week of the season was going to be that someone got into a fight and the Fanatics jersey ripped. And so far we haven't seen that.
We have not seen that. You're right.
So,
and I think under the circumstances, Utah, given like how quick the turnaround was,
it's a placeholder.
Exactly. Even the rink. I also think Utah did it, and then Colorado followed it. Getting Lauri Markkanen, who plays for the Utah Jazz, who used to play hockey, which is like terrifying
he's from
to
Finland.
think about.
Like there's like you have Finnish players on your team. One of your best players is Finnish.
But like if you think about it, like imagine all the GMs just lining up to sign Lauri Markkanen because he's 7 feet tall.
Net front presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or defenseman.
Yeah.
Like Lauri Markkanen coming out on skates, and then when they presented Nathan McKinnon with his Hart Trophy, Nikola Jokic came out, obviously not on skates, but it was wild. Like, McKinnon is a beast. We know this. He's like a Mack truck in hockey. He looked like a mouse next to Jokic.
Well, Jokic is just like a massive human being, and you also know like Jokic cared because Jokic will not do any. Like Jokic is somehow a three-time MVP winner, despite the fact that he is quiet quitting pretty loudly all the time. Like he's in like game 5 of after the NBA finals, and he's just like, I just want to go back to Serbia, race my horses. So for him to like be out there to basically attend a work function after work, that's pretty good.
Pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal.
All right, Mike, I sent on a little adventure last week.
Yeah, so I had homework.
I made Mike do some homework. Mike likes to go to movies by himself. It's like his shtick. He goes, he gets his own popcorn. I, for the life of me, cannot relate.
It's the only thing that makes me happy.
Mike saw It Ends With Us before I did.
I saw so many movies this summer, Rachel.
But Mike went at 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday to see the Joker, what is it,
Folie Deux. Or Folie Deux, which means like, shared psychosis. Or as a lot of people say, Folie a poo, Folie a doo-doo.
Or the Joker
Or
2.
Joker 2, flushing a poo. That's what a lot of people say.
Okay. In the first installment of Mike's movie reviews, do tell.
This movie sucked. It sucked so much.
But you love this stuff.
This is not, first of all, this is not a comic book movie. This is a movie that says it stars the Joker, but is really, has nothing to do with comics.
So it has nothing to do with, like, the first Joker movie?
Like, it has everything to do with the first Joker movie. It's basically the whole plot of, have you seen the first Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole plot of the second one is, like, the court case about all the bad stuff he did in the first one.
Nobody wants to watch a movie about that.
It adds nothing new, basically. Lady Gaga's good in it, but, like, it's really not, like, so.
Give us the rundown.
So I saw this movie at 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday. If that's not a cry for help, I don't know what is. Because I was like, you know what? Rachel told me to watch this movie, and, like, I had to go pick up, because the prescription I needed was ready. And in the pharmacy that I have, it's my old pharmacy that was like across the street from my old condo, but it's also just down the street from where I work. So I just never bothered to switch it. So I'm like, I have to walk all the way like over there now. But there's a theater right around the corner. I might as well just kill two birds with one stone. If I have to walk all the way down there, might as well kill. And thankfully, so I'm part of the Cineplex Cine Club, which is $11.99 a month. You get like a free ticket to I think it's like 4 discounted tickets, 20% off concessions. Like it's a very good deal. But I use my free ticket on this. So at least I know I'm not paying any money to see this movie.
Right.
At least of my own money. I'm not paying it. Like whatever. And you know what? This like I wish I could have more coherent thoughts about this, but like this movie sucked. It's a musical. Did you know it's a musical?
What?
Yeah. But it's not a musical with original songs. They just sing like songs, and they sing them badly because like Lady Gaga sings it well, but Joaquin Phoenix is not a singer.
No.
And
should have had like Hugh Jackman in there.
The whole point of this movie, it's like the court case about all the stuff he did in the first one, and they try to make something of like a point, like they try to make like because a lot of people took the wrong thing from the first Joker. A lot of people was like, this guy's a hero. This guy's he's standing up to society and all that. Like that birth that we live in a society.
How could you have taken that from?
Well, because there are a lot of people who are like, society sucks, man. The Joker, he stood up against him. And so what this movie did is it took every possible opportunity to bring this man down, like to basically show the audience like this guy's a loser. And I kind of like that because he is. But yeah. The only way I can really talk about this movie is to spoil it. So if you at some point care about this movie and want to know don't want to know how it ends,
fast forward 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to give you like 2 seconds, or I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do it, and then I'm going to talk about the spoilers, which is basically the end, and one particular part, which I will say does need a content warning. All
right, go.
Okay. So the end of this, like, there's an onion, and again, there's a content warning for people who have dealt with sexual violence. Okay. Let me just say that. There's a very interesting onion. I say interesting, humorous to me, onion article that with like headline that is local bully not so tough after getting molested.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And I could not be more serious when I tell you this, Rachel.
Okay.
Like I'm not making this up. I don't know I don't know why I would make this up. But I'm not making this up. The Joker gets the Joker raped out of him in this movie.
Oh. That
Joker goes on we flash because he's in the prison, then goes to the courtroom, then goes back to the prison and all that kind of stuff.
So he did not get bail.
No, he's representing himself to get out.
Always a good idea.
Dressed as the Joker, by the way.
Always a good idea.
And literally, then the judge pulls out the Air Bud rule, which is it doesn't specifically say you're not allowed to wear clown makeup in court. Okay. You know how like in Air Bud they go, there's nowhere in the rule where it says a golden retriever can't play basketball.
Yes.
So exactly. So that's cool, but. So the Joker, he goes on TV and he basically makes fun of the guards that are watching him. Mm-hmm. So goes back in the prison and the guards take him in the shower and they do what people think happens in prison showers.
Oh,
and after that, the next scene it cuts to him and he goes, I don't want to be Joker anymore.
All right. Yeah.
And that is what brings the movie down. Like that is what.
So you wrecked you literally wrecked the character.
No, I didn't care about the character in the first place, but like he gets the Joker raped out of him.
Yeah.
And then like after that, he's like, I don't want to be the Joker anymore. And because he doesn't want to be the Joker anymore, Lady Gaga doesn't like him anymore. And all of the people who are like, oh, he's like a freedom fighter, yay, they don't like him anymore. And
that is a bad way to get people to turn against somebody.
Yeah. So
for so many reasons, like if you think about it, I'm just thinking about it from like I haven't seen the movie, but
don't.
I'm thinking about it from like a point of view that's like survivors of sexual violence are already really like in a bad headspace to begin with. And a lot of times they're vilified. Hello, E. Jean Carroll and everyone else in that space. You get publicly ridiculed. So I don't know, like, I feel like if you want to get people to turn against the Joker, making him a victim of sexual violence, being the cause of that, is more problematic than anything else, because that you're basically saying, now that this guy has been sexually assaulted, he changes himself and now nobody likes him. It's like, well, what, like, that's not a good message to send.
It's also just like the only way this guy gained clarity or like got his head on straight was.
Yeah, so that's not a good message to be sent.
Now, the ending of the movie is what a lot of people got pissed off about.
Okay.
Because obviously loses the trial, although one of their Joker.
I'm shocked.
I know, crazy. One of the Joker. Like right after he loses the trial, one of his like Joker minions that thinks he's a Joker minion, but he's not really because he got the Joker raped out of him. And he like detonates a bomb and like blows up a lot of the courtroom. That's besides the point. So he's back in prison, and they're like, "Hey, his name's Arthur, right? Arthur Fleck is the character's name." So they go, "Hey, Arthur, you have a visitor." He goes, "Okay." So he's walking to the visitor room. And there's this inmate that we've seen in the prison through certain scenes, but it's never really been focused on. But he's like smiling a little weirdly, like in the background. And so he goes up and he's like, "Hey, Arthur, like, can I tell you a joke I thought of?" And, Joaquin Phoenix is like, "Okay, sure. Like, tell me a joke." And the guy he's like, I can't remember what the exact joke is, but it ends with, you remember in the first Joker, he shoots Robert De Niro in the head.
Yes.
And he goes like, "You get what you deserve." And
right.
Shoots him. So the punchline of the joke is basically, you get what you deserve. And this guy stabs Joaquin Phoenix in the stomach a bunch of times and kills him.
Hello?
So
in a prison.
Yeah. So Joaquin Phoenix dies. And in the background, we see this guy start laughing and cutting a smile into his face, implying that Joaquin Phoenix wasn't really the real Joker. This guy was the real Joker.
I haven't heard a single thing I like about this movie.
It sucks. I'm telling you, it's not a good movie.
All right.
I tend to not go to movies I want to explore cinema, but I'm also a budget conscious man. And so I don't tend to go to things that I know suck.
Fair.
I will wait until they go on streaming, or I will wait until like I want to support theaters, and I also think there are a lot of great movies that come out. You don't need to waste your time with movies that suck.
Fair.
I only watched this movie because you told me to. Now, you didn't tell me to watch it at 11:30, like before noon on a Sunday, but I did it anyway. yet this movie was not good.
Okay, so out of 5 stars,
I give it 1.
fair
I
enough.
rated it 1.5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
And I wrote, because I'm not sure if you heard about the movie Megalopolis that came out.
That's not a real movie.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh, you know who Francis Ford Coppola is?
Nope.
Directed The Godfathers.
Yep.
All that, like Apocalypse Now, legendary director. He self-financed this movie, put $120 million of his own money into this movie.
Francis.
And it sucks.
Great.
And my favorite review of that movie is on Letterboxd. It's one line that goes, "This sucked mega cockless." No, it was, "This shit sucked mega cockless." And I haven't seen Megalopolis yet. I really want to. And so my review for the Joker, for Joker 2 Folie Deux, was, "This shit sucked mega cockless."
God, I love you so much.
So 1.5 stars is what I have, because it was not great.
All right, moving on to
Relationship
Lifeline.
advice? Yeah.
Lifeline, a segment
Is that what we're calling it? Lifeline?
where we talk about life.
We'll do this relatively quick, but
Basically, honestly, we're going to get to a point where, like, you guys can, like, email in or DM us stuff. We're not going to say names. We're not going to, like, don't worry about that. We're not going to use names
no.
or anything like that. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like, you want advice or you just were like,
Advice
this
about
crazy
anything,
thing happened to me.
whether it's relationship advice. Like, what we're going to do right now is we're going on the r/relationship advice subreddit. And
Which
we're
is
gonna,
my favorite place on Reddit.
And we're going to look at advice, because it's where people ask questions to get advice for their relationship. So we're going to look at some interesting ones, and we're going to give our advice. I found one to start, and it's a good one.
I am so scared.
All right. This is titled, "How do I get my husband to stop going goblin mode during sex?"
Okay. How do I get my husband
So
to
too
stop
long didn't.
going goblin mode during sex?
So TLDR, which is too long didn't read. My husband says goblin mode activated when we start to have sex. Growls and acts like a caveman, and then says goblin mode off when we stop, and then pretends not to remember afterward. I really love my husband, and he's always been great in bed, but recently he's been acting really weird. So a couple of days ago, my son went on a rampage through our house and said he was in goblin mode. We didn't really know what to do with him, so we sent him to live with my parents so he can go to a special needs school. My husband has a really great relationship with our son and loved him more than anything. Naturally, he was upset when he had to leave. He's an incredibly tough man, but this was the first time I've ever seen him cry. I think since then he's been a little emotionally unwell. I've heard him muttering goblin repeatedly when he didn't notice me, staring blankly into his food, and just going alone by himself to do who knows what. I feel awful for him, but we both agreed this was for the best, at least temporarily. Last night, the day after our son went away, we decided to have sex to relieve our stress. However, my husband said, goblin mode activated, started growling, and went wild. Admittedly, it was some of the best and most experimental sex I've ever had, but I'm worried that something might be going on with my husband. Any advice?
Okay.
I told you I had a good one.
So a couple of things that Mike is not privy to. Mm-hmm. My brother and I refer to each other as goblins and gremlins. So
you should tell your brother I'm going goblin mode.
So I call my brother Goblin, and he calls me Gremlin. Because when we get, like, rattled at each other, that we're like, okay, like, you're being a goblin, or in my case, he'd be like, you're being a gremlin, like, which means, like, you're being a dick, kind of thing. So this is deeply funny. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're going to go goblin mode?
Okay. Is it bad that I kind of want to know what goblin mode activated entails in terms of the sexual details? Because it's like, she says that the sex was good, and it was somewhat, like, experimental, which is...
You have to elaborate on that. Like
we gotta know...
What does that mean?
Are we talking 50 Shades? Are we talking, like, different types of, like, kink play?
Like an experiment... Oh, okay. Well, an experiment implies that you're doing something without knowing the outcome. right?
Which is not a good idea when it comes to sexual behavior, let's be very clear.
It could be something that we can't even fathom. Like, it could be something that we have just never even conceived of before.
Okay. So, the thing is she wants to know how to get her husband to stop going goblin mode.
No, but she liked goblin mode.
And that's the thing is, you said it was some of the best sex that you've had. So, I guess my question would be, why would you want it to stop? I don't know about how you feel about this, but I'm like, if I have the best sex I've ever had, I've never had sex, Rachel, so I'm not looking for ways for that to stop. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think she really, let me peel back the layers here. I don't think she really wants goblin mode to end. I think she just wants to know what's behind goblin mode. I think she's worried because it started off with, how do I get my husband to stop going goblin mode during sex? But at the end, it was admittedly some of the best and most experimental sex I've ever had. But I'm worried that something might be going on with my husband.
Right. Okay. So she likes the result of goblin mode, clearly, but I could see how she would be concerned.
Well, like, even if it's like the best you ever had, if you've been with someone for a long time and you obviously are going through a very sad period.
Tumultuous time.
And then your husband starts growling, going like goblin mode activated, and goes like, blah, you know, like
turns into the Hulk.
Yeah. And then after, like the worst, like the thing that got me is that after he pretends like he doesn't remember what happened.
Which he fully does.
So when he goes like goblin mode, does he go like, where am I? What just happened? Why are my clothes off right now? Like
literally the Hulk.
Like, does he do that? Like it's, At least the Hulk like remembers what happened when he is the Hulk.
Right.
But this guy's just like, the goblin mode took over my body. That was Goblin Mike. It wasn't regular Mike.
I'm just thinking, and this is how screwed up my head is. You know how Hulk goes like, Hulk smash.
Yeah, it's like Goblin, yeah.
It's just Goblin smash.
Yeah.
Except
he's laying it down. Yeah. So I don't think, if we're gonna do a little therapy session, I don't think you want goblin mode to end, lady who posted this. I just think you want to understand what is fueling goblin mode.
Right. Which is fair.
Yes, because you're worried about your husband. Because no matter how good the sex is, if your husband randomly goes, I'm going goblin mode, then goes goblin mode on you, regardless if it's great, and then after goes goblin mode deactivated, and then goes, I don't remember anything that just happened. That is scary regardless.
Well, yeah, because that could get dark really
pretty
quickly.
Yeah.
So I think probably get some help. Like maybe recommend some like couples counseling.
Yeah, I would say couples counseling.
Couples counseling, probably a good start.
Is it going to be like the movie Split, where it's just like, can I speak to the goblin now? When you're in like couples counseling? Like, can you activate goblin mode for me so I can speak to the goblin? It's like, now, you know, Jerry or whatever your name is.
But the thing is like, so I have, and you know this, nobody else knows this, now everyone's going to know. I have dragon mode, which is like, basically, I'm me right now, but when I get angry.
Oh, yeah, you become a real.
Yeah.
You become a real.
I become a dragon.
Yeah.
Like, literally breathe fire. I become a dragon. I don't forget anything.
No, you don't go like dragon mode off and then people are like, why were you so mean to me? And it's like, oh, I don't remember. What happened?
No, I don't say dragon mode activated, and I certainly don't say dragon mode off. It's just, there are some days where I'm like, I'm in dragon mode today.
Yeah.
And usually I just need a good sleep. I need some chicken nuggets.
You need some food. You need a Coke, some chicken nuggets. Right. And you're good to go.
And we're good to go. And then we debrief and we talk about why I was feeling like a dragon. And then we carry on our merry way.
Because the thing, they can't even debrief about this because he can't remember what happened during Goblin.
See, I think it's totally I think he does remember and he's just being a dick. Yeah.
So she says in this, he pretends like he doesn't know.
So she knows.
Right?
Yeah,
like
we need couples counseling. We can't be having a goblin marriage. This is not a thing. Like, she didn't marry, in the wedding vows, it didn't say, I love you, and in goblin and in human. Yeah. It says in sickness and in health.
It doesn't say, like, do you, like, I'm going to, like, marry or whatever. Like, do you take Jim to be your lawfully wedded wife? Okay, now, Mary, do you take goblin mode Jim to be your lawfully wedded husband as well? Like, it's like, no.
Goblin mode
Do you take him in goblin mode and in health? Like,
okay, so yeah, I think we've settled on she loves the sex. We probably are gonna need some couples counseling though.
yeah.
All right, I think that's what we're going with here. Generally speaking, everyone, don't get into relationships with people that turn into goblins.
Well, just like if you're going to go goblin mode, make sure that you are able to debrief about goblin mode or make sure that it is with consent. Because as we've established, like sometimes goblin mode, the effects can be good, but make sure that goblin mode is done in a controlled environment where you are able to, you know, where if the goblin mode goes a little too advanced, you're able to pull it back. Because I feel like
new achievement unlocked.
Exactly, yeah. But I feel like if this lady, if he tried, you know, something more experimental that she was not okay with, and she went, hey, stop, I'm not sure if the goblin would abide by her wishes.
So we have a problem here, and it's that the whole time, all I've pictured is the Green Goblin.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. That's what I picture.
Having sex.
Willem Dafoe's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he just rides in on his floating skateboard.
Or just a little guy going, like, you know, like I picture like
this is not good,
just a little guy like going like, but like somehow it worked out great. Like I don't know.
This is not good.
But anyway.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it.
We gotta deactivate the goblin mode.
All right, goblin mode off and podcast off because this has been the first episode. I will have another. Obviously, every week we will have a new Lifeline, which is a relationship advice or something that our lovely listeners have DM'd us or emailed in. But until then, you know, we're on all our socials, Puck Social on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok. We're doing that. We're going to have some extra content. Obviously, Mike's Meals for one. We're going to do some movie reviews that might not make it onto the podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, stick with us. We're going to have more fun. And obviously, we won't talk about Goblin Mode every week.
Thank God for that.
Or Hawk Tuah or anything like that. So good, but we obviously had to get it going on that first episode. Thanks for sticking with us. We will see you next time.